The removal of code limiter. So, code becomes strongest? Exactly. After Amato removes the limiter of code's ability and awakens all the white karma, he will become stronger? Oh yeah, today is my day. Let's continue review Boruto until chapter 80 while waiting for chapter 15, Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, to be released. But before that, please like and subs, guys. Thanks. In the previous chapter, when Ida managed to manipulate Delta's mind and become favorable to her, Code continued to torture Amato to comply with his will. But before that happened, Ada knew that Kawaki was coming. And because of that, Code was forced to take Amato to their hideout to achieve his goal of removing the power limiter. But unexpectedly, it turned out that after a long conversation and torture, Amato finally complied with Code's wishes with a predetermined agreement. And this is where something unexpected happened. Amato removes limiter with something we never expected. With a "there's no dress code" by Amato, Code removes limiter and awakens all his karmic power. Oh yeah, so when Amato said that, a thick smoke instantly changed Code's appearance a bit. Maybe it looks like a Super Saiyan, because if you look at it, Code's hair instantly stands up. A white karma, Code has completely removed limiter. But there is one thing that might be said to be confusing. Initially, we must have thought that to awaken or remove the limiter on Code's karma requires some kind of ritual or complicated protocol requirements and rules. But with a simple statement of "there's no dress code," it means that this could be Amato's way of downplaying how easy it is to remove the limiter of Code's power, or perhaps insinuating that although the process is simple, the consequences can be huge. So the gist of this statement is that Code remove limiter can be done easily without any formalities to adhere to. Maybe because Amato is a scientist, we are skeptical about what is being stated. So did you get it, guys? And after he removed his limiter, Code felt something different inside his body. A feeling as if he was able to defeat anyone who became his opponent. But unfortunately, it turned out that Code did not keep his promise to Amato. He even planned to relieve Amato of his pain and suffering by killing him. The bugs who saw that felt that as the genius scientist who created them, was even helpless under their mercy. But luckily, before Code actually killed Amato, Amato told Ida that he had to talk, and it's about Kawaki. Code, who initially almost killed Amato, suddenly stopped because of Ida's words. Amato said that Kawaki is his secret plan. In other words, it means that if Konoha intends to try to eliminate or get rid of Amato, he still has another alternative, and that is Kawaki. But from that statement, it turned out that Ada didn't understand what Amato was saying. Even Code tried to provoke Ida not to listen to Amato's words, because basically Code said that Amato was just bluffing out of desperation. But Ida told Code to shut up and not interrupt, because she was talking to Amato. But again, Code kept provoking Ida not to listen to Amato's nonsense, because basically, Code thought that Amato was just using Ida. But if you look at Ida's response to giving Amato a chance to speak, it seems that Amato really wants to tell the truth. But in the end, Code remains stubborn and wants to kill Amato. Seeing Code acting as he wants, Ida orders Damon to stop him. And unexpectedly, when Damon embraced Code, he got a claw wound on his head. Code, who intended to kill him, was automatically reflected due to Damon's ability. Even Ida knew that Code intended to kill Damon, because with the wound Code got, it means that Code intended to attack and kill Damon. And again, because Damon's ability can reflect even if it's just an intention, so Code was hurt because of his evil intent. But even so, Code did not accept the accusations made by Ida. Ida even warned Code that if he became a hindrance, then he would have to dispose. Amato again explained that Code still doesn't understand, because as we know, previously Ida received an offer to come over Konoha, which aims to have an opportunity for Ada to approach Kawaki. But there are exceptions. If Ada still cooperates with Code because he has become a foe of Konoha, then it means that the opportunity that Ida has is wasted. Hearing that explanation, Code really couldn't accept it, even considering it nonsense. Code even assumed that Amato was trying to pit him against Ada. And once again, because Code was so angry, he immediately attacked Amato using his clawed hand. And at the same time, it turns out that Damon once again thwarted Code's plan to kill Amato and reflected his intent, causing Code to be thrown back. Even Damon told Code not to act stupidly, because if Ida said "don't," then Code should have listened to that and stopped. And something you probably won't notice. Even though Code has gained all the abilities from his white karma, it turns out that he didn't really become strong, even to deal with the daemon's abilities. Again, Code is unable, and maybe that means daemon's abilities are actually at a higher level than Code. And speaking of daemons, what kind of ability do you think it is to be able to fight the reflection shinjutsu that the daemon has? So the scene returns to Konoha, where Shikamaru explains everything that has happened to them. They were so surprised when they found out about a jutsu used by Ada that was able to make other people become enchanted to her. Even Shikamaru was sure that they would meet again with Ada. And here it is revealed, guys. If you remember Amado's explanation of this place, it was a place where Jigen dumped Amado's cyborgs. And one of the cyborgs that was dumped was most likely Ida. In other words, the purpose of Jigen dumping it was because the power possessed by the cyborg surpassed Jigen's power. And that was proven by the appearance of Ida, who made Amado look so scared to see her. Even Amado did not think that Ida was still alive. And even worse, Ida was not the only one. But there was another cyborg who had greater strength than Code, and it was confirmed that it was Daemon. And that is proven by Shikamaru's explanation of Kawaki's fight with Code, where when Kawaki fought with Code, there was someone that Code used to counter Kawaki's attack, and he was a demon. And another fact was revealed. So after Ada was banished to this place, it was Code who helped Ida so that she could be free and get her powers back. But because in this situation Code felt that the demon was acting strange, Code asked to do something. But unfortunately, Ida planned to end it all. But as it turns out, Code, who initially helped to free Ida after being banished, Code told Ida that he loved her. And that was from the bottom of his heart. But damn it, Ida rejected the flavor because she was sick of Code's self-serving attitude. In other words, Code only thought about himself without listening to what she had to say. That's women, right? And seeing Ida's response to Code, Daemon emphasized that his sister didn't need him. Daemon was the only one. He could fight anyone, including OTSUTSUKI. But there was something that made them surprised after Code stated that there was only one person who could become a knight, which was him. Code confidently and firmly confirmed to all of them about who exactly here is the hindrance. And that means the meaning of Code's words is that Daemon is actually the hindrance for Code as a knight for Ida. And finally, Code and Daemon intend to fight. But unexpectedly, before that happens, a voice is heard from a distance, and he is Bug. Bug tells Code to be careful with Daemon's palm. And as it turns out, guys, there's a secret to dealing with the Daemon's troublesome abilities if he knows the secret. In other words, it's only when he's touching others with his hands that actions get reflected. And since Code has gained all his power, which is more than Jigen, it could destroy each other if Code and the Daemon fight. Code, who had understood the secret of Daemon's ability, without thinking, immediately attacked him with his clawed hands. But with speed and agility, Daemon managed to dodge and move behind Code, and immediately made a great attack until the resulting blow made Code vomit blood and the land was destroyed. But apparently, Code had made a claw mark right above Daemon and immediately teleported behind him while counterattacking. But again, Daemon's ability cannot be underestimated. He was able to parry Code's attack and kick Code until his body bounced off the wall. Code fell and was completely defenseless against Daemon, who was just a kid. Even Daemon admitted that Code was stronger than Jigen, and even if it was against Uchiha or Hokage, it wouldn't be a problem for him. But in essence, Daemon stated that it didn't matter because he was the strongest as number one. And seeing Code, who was completely helpless against Daemon, Bug, who was by Code's side, became anxious. Even he was initially opposed to waking Daemon up. And because of Code's cornered position, Code moved behind Bug using his claw marks. And in essence, Ida will not kill Code if he gets in her way again. And this is where we finally find out Code's continuing mission. He wants to cultivate a divine tree and obtain its chakra fruit, as per the Otsutsuki will Ishiki bequeathed to him. And that means Code wants to devour the chakra fruit like Momoshiki and Ishiki did to gain evolution and great power. In other words, Code plans to become the new OTSUTSUKI, and even Code states that once he becomes an OTSUTSUKI, their abilities will not affect him. And in conclusion, Code states his choice whether I want to love you or want to kill you, Ada. But because he was upset and angry because of Code's words, Daemon, without thinking, immediately attacked Code. But unfortunately, Code managed to escape along with Bug using his claw marks. And now the situation became bad for Amado. Ida even told Amado that he was utterly devious. not only survived death, but also managed to create a situation where Code and Ida were separated. But in essence, Amato explained that it was all based on Ida's willingness to listen to him because it was about Kawaki. And also Amato explained Kawaki is the ace up his sleeve. And what Amato said before, it was not just a buff, but the truth. But suddenly, Damon jumped on Amato's shoulders, and Ida emphasized that the Damon was just waiting to kill him. And if Amato didn't want to die, then he had to explain in detail right now. And finally, Amato explained everything, including the matter of Kawaki getting his karma back along with the Ishiki ability that had been passed down. And not only that, there was a high probability that his power would increase. In fact, with Kawaki's current state, Amato admitted that in Konoha, no one could resist his power, including even the Hokage. Exactly the Hokage without Kurama. But behind Amato's words stating that no one can counter Kawaki's power now, Amato stated that the only exception is him, and that means Amato can only counter Kawaki's power. Ada understood what Amato meant, and that meant Amato had implanted something into Kawaki, and only Amato could control Kawaki, an emergency shutdown command code that only Amato could use. And because managing Kawaki was Konoha's job, and since it also involved other villages, it meant Konoha had no choice but to rely on Amato. This is really crazy. Amato is taking advantage of a problem he created himself by returning Kawaki's karma. Even Ida asked about it. Why is it that you didn't put such a stop function in him to begin with? And apparently, guys, Jigen forbade Amato to do so because Kawaki is his precious vessel. In other words, Jigen can't accept it. But Damon confidently declares that he can defeat Kawaki without difficulty. Maybe we can believe Damon's words, because we have to admit Damon's ability to fight Code. Actually, he has not fully released it, and that means there is still a hidden great power that has not been shown. But in conclusion, Amato revealed that the shutdown function implanted into Kawaki was only as insurance to protect his position in Konoha village, and the real purpose was different. And it turned out that Amato's different purpose had something to do with Kawaki's karma. But unfortunately, Amato did not answer and explain more details about it, because in his opinion, it would be a long story, and the best thing for now is that Ada accepted Shikamaru's offer to move to Konoha, and that means this is the beginning of why Ada was able to settle in Konoha. And in essence, they agreed to move to Konoha, and Amato will mediate between Ada and Konoha so that the situation will be as planned. And moreover, Amato also plans to inform Konoha about Damon. But before we continue, what will happen next in Konoha after Ada and Damon move, we will continue the story tomorrow again because I have to drop off my grandmother for a race. Thanks to all of you, and until Chapter 15 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex is released, we will continue until Chapter 80. Like and subs. See you in the next chapter. Bye bye, Dada Bio.